The tension on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon was subtle at first, almost invisible beneath the smiles and applause. Comedian Leanne Morgan appeared as the evening's guest, ready to share her humor and southern charm. But what began as a light-hearted exchange quickly shifted into something far more charged. The atmosphere grew thick, and viewers could sense that something unexpected was about to unfold before the cameras. Jimmy started the conversation warmly, joking about Leanne's recent comedy tour and her massive success across the country. Leanne, in her usual down-to-earth way, laughed along and cracked a few jokes about life on the road. The crowd adored her, but behind her calm expression, Leanne seemed distracted. Something in Jimmy's tone began to irk her, setting the stage for a moment no one would soon forget. As the interview progressed, Jimmy brought up a topic about Leanne's comedy style, suggesting that some critics found it too traditional. The statement was meant to be playful, but it hit a nerve. Leanne, known for her unapologetically southern humor, raised an eyebrow and replied sharply, "Traditional, honey, it's called relatable." The audience laughed, but her tone hinted at irritation more than amusement. Jimmy chuckled awkwardly, trying to move on. However, instead of diffusing the tension, he pressed further, mentioning that some younger comedians viewed Leanne's material as old-fashioned. Leanne crossed her arms, smiling tightly. "You know, Jimmy," she said, "funny doesn't have an expiration date. Maybe that's why I'm still selling out shows." The studio audience erupted, half cheering, half gasping at her confident clapback. Sensing the growing tension, Jimmy attempted to lighten the mood with a joke, but Leanne didn't laugh. Instead, she leaned forward and said, "You invited me here to talk about my work, right? Not to question my audience." The crowd grew quiet. Jimmy smiled nervously, realizing the playful teasing had turned into a full-blown disagreement in front of millions. Trying to pivot, Jimmy complimented Leanne's storytelling ability and asked about her upcoming Netflix special. Leanne appreciated the change of direction but still seemed unsettled. She explained how her comedy reflects real people and real struggles. "My fans are moms, grandmas, and folks who've lived a little. If that's outdated, then so is honesty." The audience applauded again, showing clear support for her. The applause only intensified the awkwardness between the two. Jimmy's trademark laugh returned, but it felt forced. He joked, "Well, Leanne, maybe next time I'll let you host the show." Leanne replied dryly, "I might just take you up on that, sugar." The crowd laughed, but her expression remained serious, creating an uneasy silence that lingered a moment too long. Behind the scenes, producers watched anxiously. The tension wasn't catastrophic, but the chemistry had clearly shifted. Jimmy's light-hearted humor collided with Leanne's fiery authenticity, and neither seemed willing to yield. When the segment returned from commercial break, the atmosphere had changed. Polite smiles masked an undercurrent of discomfort that everyone could feel. During the next segment, Jimmy introduced a comedy game, hoping to lighten the mood. Leanne participated but seemed disinterested, offering quick, sarcastic remarks that drew more nervous laughter than genuine amusement. The playful energy the show usually thrived on was gone, replaced by a sharp, unpredictable dynamic between the host and his guest. At one point, Jimmy made a remark comparing her humor to an old family recipe, comforting but a bit outdated. Leanne paused mid-laugh, set her cue cards down, and said calmly, "Outdated? That's funny coming from a man who still plays the same games from 2014. The crowd gasped. Jimmy froze for a second, trying to find the humor, but Leanne's tone made it clear, she wasn't joking anymore. The air became electric. Jimmy tried to recover, smiling broadly. "You got me there, Leanne." But she wasn't smiling. She crossed her legs, looked directly at him, and said, "I came here to have a good time, not to be teased about my career." The crowd cheered awkwardly, unsure if they should laugh or stay silent. It was clear that the fun had turned into confrontation. Jimmy glanced toward the crew, hoping for a cue to cut to commercial, but Leanne wasn't finished. She continued, "You know, it's funny, people love to joke about women being too sensitive, but sometimes we're just tired of being the punchline." Her words hung in the air, echoing with both conviction and frustration. The studio audience erupted into a mix of cheers and claps, many visibly supporting her statement. Jimmy nodded politely but seemed tense. "You're absolutely right," he said quickly, trying to move forward, but Leanne was already standing up, adjusting her mic. The realization spread through the room like a wave as she wasn't just frustrated, she was about to walk off. Leanne smiled toward the audience and said, "Thank you all, you all have been wonderful." With that, she set her mic down and started walking off stage. The crowd gasped as Jimmy stood from his chair, calling after her, "Leanne, wait, we still have more." But she didn't turn around. Her stride was firm, her posture unbothered. She exited as the studio lights flickered slightly, leaving stunned silence behind. For several seconds, the audience didn't know how to react. Jimmy stood awkwardly, still trying to process what just happened. Finally, he forced a laugh and joked, "Well, that's one way to end an interview." The audience laughed uncertainly, but everyone could tell that it wasn't just a TV stunt. Leanne had genuinely reached her breaking point. Backstage, producers rushed to check on Leanne, but she reportedly requested privacy. Within minutes, clips of the walk-off began circulating online. Audience members who had recorded the moment posted snippets on TikTok and X, and within hours, the video went viral. Hashtags like #LeanneWalksOff and #FallonClash began trending worldwide. Fans flooded social media with divided opinions. Some applauded Leanne for standing her ground, saying she had every right to defend herself. Others argued that she overreacted to harmless banter. The online debate grew fierce, drawing millions of views and reactions within 24 hours, turning the late-night moment into a cultural talking point. Entertainment blogs and YouTube channels dissected every second of the exchange. Analysts replayed her facial expressions, tone, and timing, debating whether she planned it or acted spontaneously. Some believed the tension had been building since the start, while others speculated that the producers might have provoked it for publicity. Meanwhile, Jimmy Fallon addressed the incident indirectly on the next episode, with a light tone. He said, "Sometimes, even comedians have bad nights." The audience laughed, but the remark reignited controversy. Many thought it was a subtle jab at Leanne, while others saw it as an attempt to smooth things over without confrontation. Leanne later posted on social media, writing, "I believe in standing up for yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. Humor should unite us, not belittle." The post received overwhelming support from fans and fellow comedians who praised her authenticity. It was clear that, despite the clash, she had no regrets about walking off the set. The story dominated entertainment headlines for a week. News outlets replayed the clip endlessly, adding commentary and expert opinions. Some praised Jimmy for staying composed, while others criticized him for crossing a professional line. What began as a routine talk show appearance had spiraled into one of the most talked-about TV moments of the year. Behind closed doors, NBC reportedly reached out to Leanne's team to mend fences. Producers wanted to ensure the controversy didn't harm future collaborations. Leanne's representatives maintained that she respected the show but wished the exchange had been handled differently. The effort to repair relationships was delicate and strategic. Weeks later, Jimmy publicly acknowledged the situation in an interview, saying, "I love Leanne's comedy. Things just got a little tense, but no hard feelings." His comments were brief but well received. Fans appreciated his effort to defuse the situation, though speculation continued about whether the relationships between the two had truly healed. Leanne continued her comedy tour, often joking lightly about that one night on Fallon. Audiences laughed as she turned the awkward moment into relatable humor, showcasing her resilience and wit. "I just figured," she quipped during one set, "if I can survive motherhood, I can survive Jimmy Fallon." The line became one of her most quoted moments. Public sentiment began to shift in her favor. Many admired her strength and honesty, noting that she handled the fallout gracefully. The incident even boosted her popularity, leading to a surge in ticket sales for her upcoming shows. Ironically, the confrontation that once seemed damaging had only amplified her career momentum. As time passed, rumors of a reconciliation began to circulate. Sources close to both stars hinted that Leanne and Jimmy had exchanged friendly messages and expressed mutual respect. While they never publicly reunited, fans believed the tension had finally settled. Both moved forward, focusing on their respective projects. Entertainment experts later described the incident as a defining cultural moment for authenticity in entertainment. They noted that audiences were drawn to real emotion even when it wasn't pretty. The walk-off represented something rare in modern television, a genuine, unscripted reaction that blurred the line between comedy and vulnerability. Months later, clips of the incident still circulated on social media. Fans shared compilations, reaction videos, and commentary pieces analyzing what the moment meant for comedy and communication in the entertainment world. It became part of internet lore, referenced in discussions about celebrity dynamics and unscripted television drama. In interviews that followed, Leanne often reflected on the event with humor. Sometimes, she said, "You just gotta walk off gracefully before you say something unholy." Her remark captured the spirit of the entire ordeal, a blend of humor, honesty, and southern charm that reminded everyone why she was beloved in the first place. In the end, the fiery exchange between Leanne Morgan and Jimmy Fallon wasn't just a viral clash, it became a story about standing your ground, expressing emotion, and finding humor even in conflict. The moment may have shocked fans, but it also revealed the raw authenticity behind two entertainers doing what they do best: connecting, clashing, and, ultimately, keeping the world entertained. After the incident, the entertainment world couldn't stop talking about Leanne Morgan. Clips of her walking off The Tonight Show flooded every major platform, turning the moment into one of the most replayed talk show scenes of the year. Even people who didn't know much about her before were now searching her name. Her social media following doubled in days, with fans praising her for being unapologetically herself in a world where so many hide behind polite smiles. Media outlets began framing the event as a larger cultural conversation about women in comedy. Commentators pointed out that male comedians often make edgy remarks without backlash, while women face harsher criticism when they stand their ground. Leanne's walk-off became symbolic, a statement that humor doesn't require submission. The narrative quickly shifted from controversy to empowerment, and Leanne embraced it. Talk show analysts dissected every second of the exchange, labeling it a historic live TV moment. Fans compared it to past celebrity walk-offs, noting that Leanne's felt different, not impulsive, but deliberate. She didn't storm out in anger, she exited with poise. Viewers admired her composure, and hashtags like #graceful_exit and #standwithleanne continued trending for days afterward. Meanwhile, Jimmy Fallon's team worked tirelessly to manage the fallout. Behind the scenes, staff discussed how to handle future interviews to avoid similar situations. Some producers defended Jimmy's humor as harmless, while others admitted he crossed the line. The network wanted to move past the drama quickly, but the internet had other plans as the clip had taken on a life of its own. Late-night competitors, including comedians from rival shows, couldn't resist commenting on the moment. Some teased Jimmy in good fun, while others applauded Leanne's reaction. What could have been a minor on-air mishap turned into a full-blown entertainment story that dominated podcasts, talk shows, and digital headlines for weeks. Leanne's PR team saw an opportunity and leaned into the positive attention. They arranged interviews where she discussed authenticity in comedy, explaining how laughter often comes from honesty, not just punchlines. She handled each appearance gracefully, never bad-mouthing Jimmy directly, but emphasizing that mutual respect should always be part of entertainment. Fans admired her approach. Instead of attacking or stirring more drama, Leanne used humor and sincerity to win people over. Sometimes, she said in one interview, "You just have to walk off before you walk over your own piece." That quote spread rapidly, shared on motivational pages, embroidered on merch, and turned into a viral meme across social media. As her tour continued, Leanne noticed her shows selling out faster than ever. People who had never seen her live now wanted to witness the woman who stood up to late-night television. Her walk-off became a symbol of confidence, and her fanbase expanded beyond comedy lovers as she became a pop culture icon for authenticity and self-respect. Even Jimmy's loyal fans started to see Leanne in a new light. Some admitted that the moment revealed how unscripted television can expose real personalities, not just polished performances. Many called for the two to reunite in a more comfortable setting, perhaps even to joke about the clash and show there were no lingering grudges. Months later, Jimmy reached out privately to Leanne to apologize personally. According to sources close to both stars, the conversation was friendly and heartfelt. They cleared the air, and Jimmy reportedly told her, "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I just admire how strong you are." Leanne thanked him, ending the tension once and for all. After that private reconciliation, both began subtly referencing the event in interviews. Jimmy joked on his show, "We've all had guests who walk off before the commercial break. Hey, at least she did it with class." The audience laughed, sensing there were no hard feelings. Leanne later responded during a live event, "I'd go back if he promises not to call me old-fashioned." It was playful, and fans loved it. Entertainment media framed the reconciliation as a victory for professionalism and grace. What could have been an ongoing feud turned into a lesson in maturity. Many said the story showed that even in the entertainment industry, empathy and communication can heal misunderstandings, proving that drama doesn't always have to end in bitterness. Leanne's story began inspiring young comedians across the industry. In interviews, upcoming performers mentioned how she showed that it's okay to stand up for yourself on stage or on camera. Workshops and panels even discussed the incident as a case study in maintaining self-respect while navigating show business pressures. By the end of the year, Leanne received multiple award nominations for her comedy tour, and several entertainment magazines listed her as one of the most influential voices in comedy. Ironically, the moment that once seemed like a PR disaster had transformed her image completely, from underestimated Southern comic to symbol of strength and confidence. Looking back, the night Leanne Morgan walked off The Tonight Show became more than just a viral TV moment. It became a story about identity, respect, and resilience. It showed that in an industry obsessed with perfection, sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is step away when the moment no longer feels right. Leanne's exit wasn't an ending, it was the start of something far bigger.